What if the biggest obstacle in your life became your greatest strength? Join me as I share my deeply personal journey of conquering profound fears, revealing how the human spirit can truly triumph.
This isn't just my story. It's a guide to unlocking your own resilience and embracing life more fully, starting today.
Fear, it's such a small word, yet it holds the power to paralyze even the strongest hearts. We spend so much of our lives running away from it, pretending it doesn't exist, or disguising it behind smiles and confidence.
But the truth is, fear never really disappears when we deny it. It only grows stronger in the silence.
I've learned that the bravest thing we can ever do is to look fear in the eye and say, "I see you." Acceptance doesn't make us weak, it makes us real.
And there is something incredibly beautiful about being real. We live in a world that constantly tells us to be fearless.
We hear it in speeches, see it on posters, and repeat it like a mantra. But being fearless isn't the goal.
We are human. We're meant to feel fear. It's part of our survival, part of our story. The problem isn't the fear itself. It's the way we hide it.
We put on masks to look brave. We pretend to be okay when we're breaking inside. And in that pretense, we lose the chance to truly heal. Real courage begins the moment we stop pretending. When you can stand in front of your fear, trembling but honest, you've already taken the first step toward freedom. You see, fear is not a wall meant to block your path. It's a mirror showing you where you still need to grow. When you accept your fear, you start to understand yourself more deeply. You realize that behind every fear lies a longing to live, to love, to be seen, to be enough.
The fear of failure, for instance, hides the desire to succeed. The fear of rejection hides the wish to be loved. So instead of running from your fears, listen to what they're trying to teach you. They often carry the exact wisdom you've been searching for. There was a time when I used to think admitting fear would make me look fragile. I thought strength meant never showing weakness. But one day I realized strength doesn't come from hiding your emotions. It comes from owning them. The day you say, "Yes, I'm afraid, but I'm still going to show up," that's the day you reclaim your power. You don't need to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need the honesty to say, "This scares me," and the courage to take one small step anyway. When you accept fear, you stop fighting yourself. You stop wasting energy trying to be someone you're not. You begin to live in alignment with your truth, raw, vulnerable, imperfect, and yet unstoppable. And that's when transformation begins. Because acceptance isn't surrender, it's the beginning of healing. It's the moment your fear stops being a cage and starts becoming your compass. So don't be ashamed of your fear, don't silence it. Hold it gently, look at it with compassion, and let it remind you that you're still alive, still trying, still growing. The bravest thing you can ever do is to accept your fear and walk with it anyway. Fear often gets such a bad reputation, doesn't it? We treat it like an enemy, something we have to fight, escape, or suppress. But what if fear isn't here to destroy us, but to guide us? What if every time your heart races, every time your palms sweat, every time you hesitate before a big step, it's not a sign of weakness, but a sign that you're standing on the edge of growth? You see, fear is not always a red light telling you to stop. Sometimes it's a green light, softly whispering, "You're getting closer to something meaningful." For so long, I misunderstood fear. I thought it was the signal to turn around, to give up, to play safe. But I learned that fear only shows up when something matters deeply to you. You never fear something irrelevant. You fear the dream because it matters. You fear the stage because your voice matters. You fear love because your heart matters. So instead of letting fear shrink your life, let it show you what truly matters in your heart. Redefine it. Don't ask, "Why am I so scared?" Ask, "Why does this mean so much to me?" That single shift changes everything. When we redefine fear, we take away its power to paralyze us.
It becomes less about danger and more about direction. Think about it. If you weren't scared, you wouldn't care. Fear reminds you that you're alive, that you're stretching, that you're stepping beyond what's familiar. And growth never happens in comfort. Every person who has ever achieved something remarkable has walked hand in hand with fear. They didn't wait for the fear to disappear. They redefined its meaning. They saw it not as an obstacle, but as proof they were on the right path. Sometimes fear is the universe's way of testing your commitment. It asks, how badly do you want this? It's not there to stop you, it's there to strengthen you. The moment you start viewing fear as your personal trainer rather than your prison guard, you begin to move differently. You breathe differently. You live differently. You realize you're not broken because you're scared. You're brave because you're still moving forward in spite of it. The key is awareness. When fear comes, instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, this is new, this is growth. Instead of saying, I'm afraid to fail. Remind yourself, failure is part of the journey. You can't change the feeling of fear, but you can change the meaning you give to it. And meaning is everything. Once you shift that, fear transforms from a chain into a compass. It stops holding you back and starts guiding you toward your purpose. So the next time fear visits you, don't shut the door, invite it in. Listen to what it's trying to tell you. Because fear isn't always the voice saying, don't go there. Sometimes it's the voice whispering, this is exactly where you're meant to be. Courage is such a misunderstood word. People often imagine it as standing tall, fearless, and unshaken in the face of adversity. But real courage doesn't look like that. It doesn't always roar or shine. Sometimes it trembles. Sometimes it cries. Sometimes it's that small, almost invisible step you take when everything inside you is screaming, don't. That's courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move despite it. So often, we wait to feel ready before taking action. We tell ourselves, when I'm more confident, when I'm stronger, when I'm not scared anymore. But the truth is, that moment never comes. You will never wake up one day completely fearless and perfectly prepared. Life doesn't wait for your confidence. It rewards your courage. You build confidence by doing the very thing that terrifies you. Every time you act, even with shaky hands and a racing heart, you prove to yourself that you are capable, and that proof builds strength far greater than any motivational quote ever could. Think about the times you've stood at a crossroads when one path felt safe and the other felt uncertain. You probably knew deep down which one led to growth, but fear whispered, what if you fail? Yet, every time you've ignored that whisper and taken the leap, even just a small one, haven't you always discovered a new layer of yourself? Growth never hides in safety. It lives on the edge of discomfort, and the most beautiful things in life often begin with a shaky step forward. You don't have to take massive leaps all at once. Sometimes courage is as small as raising your hand in a meeting. Sometimes it's speaking your truth when your voice cracks. Sometimes it's simply getting out of bed after a difficult night and deciding, I'll try again today. We underestimate the power of these moments because they don't look dramatic or grand. But these quiet victories shape who we become. Every small act of bravery plants the seed for a stronger, freer version of you. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel unready. The magic lies in showing up anyway. Each time you face your fear, you teach your mind a new story that fear doesn't mean stop, it means go carefully. Over time, your comfort zone expands. What once terrified you becomes your new normal, and then new fears will come, inviting you to grow again. That's how we evolve step by step, fear by fear, choice by choice. So take that first step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. Don't wait for courage to feel comfortable. It never will. Just trust that each trembling step you take carries the strength to move mountains. Because the moment you act, even when you're scared, is the moment you become unstoppable. Pain has a way of breaking us open. It comes uninvited, stays longer than we expect, and leaves behind scars we never asked for. But with time, we start to see that those very scars hold stories of survival. They remind us that we have walked through fire and somehow we're still standing. Every wound carries wisdom if we're willing to listen. And the truth is, pain doesn't come to punish us, it comes to prepare us. It shapes us into who we were always meant to become. We often see pain as an end, the end of a dream, a relationship, or a part of ourselves. But what if pain isn't the ending? What if it's a beginning? Every time life breaks you, it's also trying to rebuild you, to make room for something stronger, purer, and more meaningful. Growth rarely happens in comfort. It happens when you're forced to rise from the ashes of what you thought you couldn't live without. It's in those moments of quiet heartbreak, when the world feels heavy, that you learn the language of resilience. Fear and pain walk hand in hand. We fear being hurt again, so we close off, we build walls, we stop taking chances. But when we stop allowing ourselves to feel, we also stop allowing ourselves to live. Pain is proof that you have a heart that still cares, a soul that still dreams. Instead of running from it, try to transform it. Take your pain and give it purpose. Let it become the reason you show compassion, the reason you help others heal, the reason you stand taller than before. Pain loses its grip when it becomes your teacher instead of your tormentor. There is a unique kind of strength that comes only from suffering, the strength of empathy. When you've known pain, you see others differently. You understand silence, you recognize hidden sadness, and you respond with gentleness. That's the gift pain gives you, the ability to connect deeply, to love honestly, and to appreciate joy when it finally returns. You start realizing that even the worst moments were not there to destroy you, but to awaken something extraordinary within you. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, quiet process, one that demands patience. You'll have days when it still hurts, when the memories return, when you question if healing is even possible. But healing isn't forgetting. It's choosing to move forward with grace. It's allowing the pain to be part of your story, but not the whole story. It's saying, this happened to me, but it does not define me. And that shift changes everything, so don't be afraid of your pain. Let it teach you, guide you, and refine you. Because when you turn your pain into power, you don't just survive, you rise. The people you surround yourself with shape the way you see yourself and the way you move through life. Sometimes fear doesn't come from within. It's something we absorb from the voices around us. When you're surrounded by people who constantly doubt, complain, or play it safe, their fears start to echo inside your own mind. You begin to question your abilities, your dreams, your worth. But when you find people who choose courage over comfort, who challenge you to grow instead of holding you back, everything changes. The energy around you has the power to either build your wings or break your spirit. We often think we can walk this journey alone, but no one truly does. Every person you let into your space either waters your courage or drains it. That's why it's so important to choose wisely. Don't look for perfect people. Look for the ones who are brave enough to be real. Those who admit their fears but still move forward. Those who fall but keep getting up. Their strength will remind you of your own. The right people don't just cheer for you when you win. They stand beside you when you're scared to begin. There will be moments when your vision feels too big for the people around you. They might tell you it's impossible, that you should aim smaller, that you're reaching too high. And in those moments, you must understand not everyone will understand your journey because it wasn't given to them. Their limitations are not your truth. Surround yourself with those who see your potential even when you can't. People who, instead of feeding your doubts, feed your faith. Those who say, "You can do this," even when you're trembling.
Their belief in you becomes the echo that drowns out your fear. It's also important to be that kind of person for others, to be the light in someone else's darkness.
When you choose to lift others, to encourage rather than envy, you create a cycle of strength that uplifts everyone.
The world already has enough critics and doubters. Be someone's reminder that courage is contagious.
The moment you stand in your truth, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same.
That's the beauty of brave souls. They don't just change their own lives. They inspire others to rise too. Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Some people will question your purpose because they've never discovered their own.
Learn to recognize the difference between constructive guidance and limiting fear disguised as advice. Walk with those who push you higher, who celebrate your growth, and who are not threatened by your light. You'll know them by how peaceful you feel in their presence, that calm sense that you're safe to be exactly who you are.
So, stay close to the brave ones, not the perfect ones, because courage is contagious, and in their light, you'll find your own shining brighter than ever. We spend so much of our lives waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right opportunity to finally start living.
We tell ourselves, when I'm not afraid anymore, then I'll go for it. When things get better, then I'll be happy. When I have enough, then I'll begin. But life doesn't work like that.
Life doesn't wait for us to feel ready. It unfolds in the now, in the messy, imperfect, uncertain moments where courage meets choice. And if you keep waiting for fear to disappear, you'll miss the beauty that's already waiting for you on the other side of hesitation. Living fully is not about having no fear. It's about refusing to let fear control the way you live. It's choosing to show up even when you're unsure, to speak even when your voice shakes, to love even when your heart remembers pain.
It's about realizing that every day you wake up is a chance to write a new page, one that belongs entirely to you.
Life is fragile, unpredictable, and fleeting, but that's what makes it precious. You don't need everything to be perfect to live fully. You just need to be present, grateful, and brave enough to participate in your own story. Some people live their entire lives behind walls they built themselves, walls made of doubt, of fear, of what-ifs. They dream of freedom, but never take the steps to claim it. But freedom is never found in safety. It's discovered in the moments you dare to step beyond what's familiar. The moment you start living instead of existing, everything shifts. The colors become brighter, the sounds more meaningful, the connections more real.
You begin to understand that life is not meant to be survived. It's meant to be experienced. Living fully doesn't mean chasing constant happiness. It means embracing the full spectrum, the joy, the pain, the failure, the growth. It's about showing gratitude for the little things, the sunrise that reminds you of hope, the laughter shared with someone you love, the silence that teaches peace.
Every breath you take is proof that you're still here, still capable of trying again, of loving again, of beginning again.
So stop waiting for someday, stop postponing your dreams, your voice, your purpose. There will never be a perfect moment to start, only this one. Say yes to life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Take the trip, start the project, apologize, forgive. Dance, cry, laugh loudly. Let your heart feel everything it's meant to feel. Because this very moment is life happening right in front of you.
Don't let fear steal the beauty of your now. Live fully, love deeply, and let every heartbeat remind you you are still alive, and that alone is a reason to begin.